You are listening to Book Clips, a podcast where authors and narrators expose you to excerpts from different books. You can find the show and more by searching for The Lesbian Talk Show on iTunes, Podbean, or Stitcher.
Hello, this is S.W. Andersen, and you're listening to my reading from The Price of Payback. This is the sequel to Somewhere Between Love and Justice, and follows gunslinger Sarah Sawyer. This story picks up about 1 year later. The sight of our newly constructed front gate in the distance brought a sense of relief, maybe even peace, as it drew closer and closer. This had become a place I found comfort in seeing, not just because of the woman who would be there with me, but because of the hard work and sweat put into making something permanent, something that was ours. Roots, I believe they called it. I'd set down roots, and as much as I never thought I'd be capable of that in my life, here I was, and I couldn't be happier. Happy yet cautious. There was still something brewing. I hadn't figured it out yet, but I knew it was out there. Brady said he was looking for someone when he stumbled upon Jade, and I couldn't shake the feeling he meant me. Killing someone as powerful as O'Shea was bound to have repercussions, and as much as I'd been trying to pretend otherwise, the time of reckoning might be upon me. The only thing I was sure of was that I'd defend this newfound peace to the death. A gentle squeeze to my thigh brought my attention to a concerned Joe. The orange and red colors of sunset danced on the edges of her face, creating a silhouette of the exquisite woman casting worried glances my way. "What's going on over there?" What? Nothing was going on over here that was different than any other day. I was thinking. I did that a lot. Too much, probably. "What do you mean?" "You're thinking. I know that much for sure," she said through a soft laugh. "But I wonder what you're thinking about. Your face went from a content smile to a hardened frown, and your brows were all squished together like you were trying to figure something out. Then you got that look you get when you've made up your mind." I shook my head and laughed. She was amazing. The woman knew me far too well. I'd have to work on shaking things up a bit. "I think you spend too much time studying my expressions, Joe." "Well, you don't always share, so I've learned the cues." True, I wasn't great at sharing my thoughts or feelings. That would take much more than a year to master. But I'd made progress where Joe was concerned. "Yeah, sorry, I'm working on it." "I didn't mean it like that, Sarah," she replied with a tinge of sadness. I know. I did know. She never hounded me. More like a gentle prodding from time to time, reminding me that she was there, and that I didn't have to deal with things by myself anymore. But that was just how I processed my thoughts. "So would you care to share now?" she asked with hesitance. A soft, hopeful smile pulled at her lips. How could I say no to her? I was just thinking about what happened today and how Brady said he'd found someone he was looking for. I'm worried he means me. He knew who I was, and that could only mean trouble's headed our way. Well, we don't know anything for sure, but we definitely should be cautious. Maybe there'll be more answers tomorrow. Sorry Jade wasn't much help. She did say Brady used to work for someone big, but she never met him, never heard his name. She only worked for Brady and his little band of thieves. It's a start. I covered her hand with mine and laced our fingers together, staring down at them as I caressed her soft skin with my thumb. Right now, I just want to get home and kick off these boots. Is that all you want? She kept her eyes on the road ahead, but the corner of her lip curled into that seductive grin I love so much. I smiled and shrugged like I wasn't interested. We'll see. I mean, if something more tempting comes along, I could be persuaded. In that case, I'll have to see how persuasive I can be. Jo turned and wiggled her brows, sending a familiar wave of want through my body. Wouldn't take much persuading if that's what she wanted. Never did. I always wanted all of her and couldn't imagine that ever changing. If knowing who her family was didn't kill my desire for her, nothing could. When we reached the house, Clover was standing at the barn gate. She looked at me with expecting eyes, so big and soft. My girl was wanting attention, and as badly as I wanted to get inside for the evening, how could I ever deny my best friend? She held a place in my heart every bit as big as Jo. Give me a few. I think I need to say hello. I motioned to the barn. Jo waved me off, and with a soft smile, she unloaded our things from the wagon. As I approached, Clover whinnied and nodded her head in approval. I ran my hand along her strong neck and kissed her muzzle. Hey, gorgeous, I missed you. Clover gave me a firm nudge, then brought her nose up to my face. I kissed her again and rubbed her forehead. I know you missed me too. I promised to pay more attention to you. Joe's arms wrapped around me from behind and her body pressed against my back. She sure does love it here. Yeah, she does. She deserves it too. I placed one hand over Joe's arm, holding her in place while I continued to pet Clover. Joe nuzzled into my neck, placing soft kisses that goosed my skin. You both do, she husked into my ear. My eyes fell shut. Her voice, her touch, never failed to bring me to a place of serenity unreachable by any other means. I did think first, you know. About what? She mumbled between soft nips as she traveled south. Delicate fingers peeled back the collar of my shirt. My body sunk back into hers. I wanted to lose myself, but she needed to hear this first. I needed Joe to understand. Today, I thought long and hard about my actions before I confronted Brady. Joe fell still. The rise and fall of her chest against my back ceased at the end of one sharp breath. Sarah, I'm sorry. She spoke with confidence I wasn't expecting. I shouldn't have jumped down your throat. I was upset about Jade. You know I worry about her and... Joe tried to pull away, but I held strong to her arms, not giving her the option of letting me go. That's why I wanted you to know that I thought it through first. I couldn't get help and risk them being gone. There was no one else around, and I didn't want to use my gun, but there was no choice. Sarah, it's okay. She propped her chin on my shoulder. No, Joe. Please, just let me finish. She stood silent, allowing me to speak the words I needed her to hear and believe without a doubt in her mind. When Brady hit her, that was it. I couldn't hold back anymore. I confronted him hoping to stall so someone would see us and help, but no matter what, he wasn't leaving with her. Then it just became a matter of getting a clear shot. He knew what he was doing, hiding behind her. He knew who I was. He wouldn't give me an inch. When she started to struggle, I saw my chance, but I needed a kill shot. He was too big and strong to hit an arm or leg. That would have just ended up in a shootout, or worse. So I did the only thing I could, throwing the shot far enough out that I wouldn't risk hitting Jade in the chest, but praying I'd miss the bone. It helped that he knocked her out again, but unfortunately for Jade, through the shoulder was the best shot, and I hit it dead on. Joe was quiet, taking it all in. She nodded her understanding. So I'm sorry if you don't approve of my actions. I will always protect those I love with any means possible, even with deadly force, and even at the cost of my own life. But don't think for a moment that I didn't consider every option. Every damn one. And not just about how I could help her, but about you. Me? Her grip tightened around my waist. I swallowed hard and dropped my head. You, and how I didn't want to do anything that would keep me from coming back to you. I want you to trust that my only goal every day is to end up in your arms as we fall asleep in our bed. Leaning my forehead to Clover's, I breathed in the sweet wild scent she always wore. It made me smile and erase the tension of revisiting today's events. I spun in Joe's arms and stared into soft, solemn eyes that were full of sincerity. She leaned in and pecked me on the lips. Sarah, I do trust you. I trust you with all that I hold dear. Never doubt that, okay? Okay. But with that said, she continued, I'm also sorry I made you think I did. But just because I trust you doesn't mean I won't worry or jump to conclusions. I don't want you to change. I love you for the protective, loving, strong woman that you are. You don't have to do anything except love me. And preferably communicate. She chuckled at our reference to our earlier conversation. If you have goals, if you want to change, I'll support you. Just know that you, Sarah Sawyer, the cowgirl, the gunslinger, the doctor. She sighed amongst an ever-growing smile. You are all I will ever want or need. You got that? You sure about that? Jo was a strong woman. So far she had held on tighter than a cowboy breaking a bronc. But would she want to endure that for years to come? Dead sure. There was no waver in her words. She had made up her mind. There was no change in Joe's mind once she was set. Between her declaration and our discussion, I had a newfound confidence. I'd been trying to turn myself into someone else, someone I thought would fit into this new life better. But that wasn't me, and that wasn't who Joe wanted. Joe Porter wanted every part of the Sarah Sawyer who rode in to catch him all those months ago. Boy, was she in for a ride. You've been listening to S.W. Andersen, reading from The Price of Payback.
This was an episode of Book Clips. Check out the show notes for more on this book. And it would be great if you would rate the show and subscribe to the Lesbian Talk Show podcast channel for more woman-centered content. If you are an author of lesbian fiction, then send us your reading. You can find out how on thelesbiantalkshow.com/reading.